Hello, it's Clayna. Now today we're going to be taking a look at the sleigh ride die set. So this is the sleigh that you make from your sleigh ride die kit. It's a 3D sleigh and it is quite a strong construction. If you have a look, you can see all the strengthening pieces that we've got here. So this is a nice, strong, sturdy container. Now how you use it is up to you. There are many ways that I can imagine this being used. Now, do you want it to be like a serving dish, like something that you put sweets in? Or how about, are you the kind of family like mine growing up where you always had nuts in shells and a nutcracker? Every year we have a dish of those out on the sideboard. We've got a tin of sweets, you know, you have those kind of traditions. So you can use it as like a serving dish. How about all those really cool bags of potpourri that come out every year at Christmas? They've normally got like pine cones and all sorts in them. You get them with all kind of fun colours, silvers and golds and things like that at Christmas time. So it could be full of potpourri. It could have any other kind of treats or snacks that you would have on display. Is it going to be an arrangement, a container for an arrangement? If you popped an oasis in here, you could be doing a floral arrangement. How about add some of your gingerbread men or your candy canes from your candy set, you know, to add a bit of fun to your floral arrangement. How about making a hamper with these? So you put in little bits like miniatures, you know, you get those individual Christmas puddings at Christmas, that kind of thing. You're going to make a little hamper, maybe some posh chocolates, you know, one of those half bottles of wine or something, and put it in there and then wrap it up in some cellophane. There are lots of ways that I can imagine you using this. Now, there are ways that I can also not imagine you using this. This is not going to be the kind of sleigh that's small enough to put on everybody's plate around the Christmas table. This is the size that sits in the middle of the table. Now, I can demonstrate that for you. So you know how I said we always have a tin of sweets every Christmas? This will hold a tin of sweets. So let's have a look. I've got a tin here. Now, I literally just opened it up when I was doing the little packages video, but this is a standard 600 gram tin and it's in its entirety. I've not eaten any. Okay, now let's have a look. Let's pop these in. Okay. One rogue one escaping. Right, now that is an entire tin of sweets. So they all are about 600 grams at the moment, the tins of sweets. So whatever your chosen one is, the one that you know is kind of the tradition in your family, but it will hold that, and it is sturdy. It's not going to buckle. It's not going to have any problems holding something of that weight. We've got these struts here that come down, so they connect the side panels to the base, and then we've got some additional little brackets here as well, and then the base is double lined. It's made from 300 GSM. So all in all, this is a lovely display piece. This is a piece of home decor, or it's your receptacle for a gift giving. Or is it going to be on your sideboard, or is it going to be a hamper for you to gift to somebody else? So let's make one. You will need your sleigh ride die set, and if you've got my square nesting dies, these will be from the heart-shaped bag and these square stacking boxes. Now, when you open it up, you will see your die cut list. Now, you'll notice a little while ago I started putting all the die cut lists in the group. If you look in the albums in the group, you'll see a die cut list album in there, and this will be uploaded into there, so you'll have access to it whenever you want it. You'll see up here the nested die that we're using here is your 3.5 inch. So that's nice and easy to identify. The only decision really you need to make is what sentiment you're going to have on the side of your sleigh. Now on this one, I put the Merry Christmas sentiment, but on the one I'm going to be making for you today, I'll do the sleigh ride sentiment to change it up. So you'll see on your die cut list, it will tell you how many of each of the pieces to cut out. But when it comes to this one, it's like that one or that one. You need two of them. So you will find those, because it's kind of like a double set. You've got the ones inside and you've got the ones on the back. So these are the two sentiments. You just got to choose between them. So with this piece here, so the top one is gold. So that's that piece. We can identify that. That's no problem. But the next piece down for our sleigh side, we need that piece and we need that piece. These are our Lincoln system. Now, I invented the Lincoln system, I don't know, must be a good 6 years ago now. You'll see on this join here, it's like a little jigsaw puzzle piece, and they go together. And then all you do is you pop a little bit of tape over the join. So I'm just using my low tack tape. So it's just a join on each end. Now, when you put your low tack tape on, just put it over the join, but not over the cut line. So not over the line that kind of protrudes upwards. And I'm going to do the same on the other end. Now it's overhanging a little bit, but that's okay. So again, on the other side, I've gone over the join, but not over the cut line. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over, and then I'm just going to wrap that around, because I need to cut it a couple of times. Okay, so I need two from each side. So look, it's held together. It's no problem. We've basically got a big die now that was in two pieces that's now in one piece. This is a large die. This piece is actually over 10 inches long. But the beauty of my linking system is, let's now undo that bit of tape. Take the top off. Put the other one on. So wrap it around again. I'm going to wrap it under, and there we have it. Now I've got the other side of my sleigh, but all I've done is change over the top piece. That's how I can bring you such a large sleigh, because I'm not having to manufacture both sides, only the top, this top edge. So this is where my Lincoln system is incredibly helpful and just enables us to have these large projects. Now, like I said, the sleigh is actually 10 inches across. It's actually 10.2 inches across, but from the bottom to the top here, that's actually 6.25. Okay, so just so you've got an idea of the size. There are a few little pieces that we just need to prep before we can put our sleigh together. These are some of those pieces. So you need to cut out 6 of going in each direction of these. So all we need to do is glue these together in 3s. But before we glue them, we're going to be folding along these score lines. We'll fold along these score lines and we'll glue them. So like I say, we're gluing 3 of each of these together in each direction. Okay, so here we are. We've got our 2 going in each direction, and they're all 3 layers thick. And then the next is the little bracket pieces. And again, we're going to fold these in half just before we glue them. It makes it a lot easier when we go to assemble the sleigh. And we'll just glue 3 of these together. Okay, so I've got my 2 little brackets, 3 layers thick. This is our overlay piece, this is our decorative piece, but we want our runners to be the same colour as our body. So we kind of don't want it to be overly visible that we're adding all these extra layers. We just need the decorative layer on the outside. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to glue 3 of these together and then pop my decorative layer on top. Okay, so that's our 2 runners. Then we've got this little wreath. So you want to cut 2 of these. So to layer up your bow, you just bend along the score lines, and then you put 1 little dot of glue in the middle of that square. And then match the squares up. I'll just leave that sit just for a second before I fold it up. Now with your little wreath, you'll see that you've got some little die cut leaves. Now what I intend for you to do is just go along, run your little thumbnail underneath and just bend them back. I'll just pop a little bit of glue in the square behind, and I will choose an area. I think I'll go here. I'll flatten that leaf down and just glue right on top of that leaf there. I'll just hold that for a minute while it takes hold. Okay, that's done. So we've got our 2 little wreaths, and that's going to go on the front and back of my sleigh. I've got my 4 decorative trims, but I will actually glue those on at the end, so I'll set those aside. I've got the decorative pieces for the side of my sleigh. Now this is for my outside layer, so I can actually put this on now. Now when you pop this on, you want to leave a slight border above it. So when it goes on, you'll kind of get the idea when you move it around, especially if you're using wet glue, then you get that little bit of wiggle room. So when you put it on, you want a little bit of a border above it. Do you see that? And then you get the perfect placement. Now on this one, I've got Sleigh Ride as the sentiment. So I'm going to pop this on. But because I'm putting it ahead of time, I've got to be a little bit aware of where I'm putting it. Now you'll see on the side of your sleigh here, you've got these little scallops. Now that's where your runners attach. So you don't want it to affect your runners too much. So I'm just making sure that my sentiment is in between there and where the runners are going to go. Okay, now on this decoration here, where these little stars are, I'm going to actually pop some little of the flat back gems over those little stars, but I'm going to do it at the very end. I think it'll make the assembly a little bit easier. So I've just got those little placement for the little gems. Okay, that's one of each side is now decorated. So these go on at the end. Now we come down to our square panels. We want 4 of those for going inside at the end for covering up all of the tabs. So we'll set those aside. And 4 of them are used for the construction. So what we're going to do is we're going to glue our section to the sides of our square. So it's the solid section with the teeth facing outwards. Okay, so you want to go along and you want to do that for all of the other 4 pieces. So you want them to all the other 4 pieces to be like that with the teeth top and bottom. Then once you've done that, you want to join them up in a line. So we're going to use the pieces to join them like that. When you look at your sleigh, you'll see the bottom is actually 2 pieces side by side, and you can see that inside as well. Now we don't want to fold there because we want that to be nice and flat because that's our base, but we do want folds in these corners here. So you can do that before or after, that's completely up to you. I'm thinking it might be better to do it at this point before I glue it on. Might be better to get those teeth folded. like I say, you can just join them in a row and fold it afterwards if you like. But do not bend that middle one. You want that to be nice and straight. Okay, so let's glue these now. Now I'm going to give that a good minute or two to dry, because we need to curve these outside two pieces. So we want to make sure that that's definitely all nice and solid before we start doing that. Okay, so this is dry now, so you'll see that this is going to form the center channel of our sleigh. But what we want to do is we want to curve these sides to make it, you know, to help fit, you know, to make it easier to actually assemble. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on the edge of my desk and I'm going to run this over the edge of my desk like that. And there we go, that's given it a nice curve. So to do that, all you do is you run it over the edge of your desk like that. So imagine that's the edge of your desk or your, you know, your table. Then run it over with your other hand on top, pushing as you go, and just keep going like that over a firm corner of a desk or table, and that will work. Yeah. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to fold our tabs over. All of our little teeth. So go along and bend all of those over. Okay. Now, when we glue this onto our panel, this is a straight edge. Now the teeth, this is the most important thing of the whole assembly. Okay, the teeth have to go on the outside. So they go on the outside of your side panel. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to come along with our decorative side panel and cover those teeth up so you won't know they're there. Okay, so this is the most important thing. We must have the teeth on the outside. So this is a straight edge, so what we can do is we can go along and we can glue all of these down along that straight edge in one go. So that's really handy. Okay, that should have taken well enough. Now all we need to do now is to come in and glue these tabs down on both sides. What I'm going to do is just take it easy and do a couple at a time, especially to start me off, because the goal here is to get them in as tight as we possibly can. So we're going to get them in nice and tight and just hold them down until it takes hold. They're lovely. We've followed the curve nice and tight. There's no gaps there at all. Lovely. Now we're going to go along and do exactly the same on the other side. So again, I'm just going to take it just two at a time because there's no rush, because this is where we get a good finish. So we're just going to do it two at a time, and then we're going to tuck it in right into the corner as tight as we can get it. There, now we've got the other curve in nice and tight. Okay, so I'm just going to pop the other side on exactly the same way. So I'm going to bend all my teeth over. Then I'll glue this edge on all in one because it's a straight line. And then I'll glue my side teeth on, two at a time. taking my time because that's the most important bit. And we've got to make sure all the teeth are on the outside. Okay, so I will see you in a moment after I've done all of that. Okay, so both sides are on now. And as you can see, we've got all of the side tabs are on the outside, so we can cover that up. But the tabs that joined the 4 squares together, we can still see those. So that's okay. That's where our other 4 pieces come in. So we can cover those up. So we've got the 2 pieces go into the bottom, and then the other 2 need to be curved. So I'll go ahead and do that on the side of my desk again. Okay, so let's stick the 2 flat ones into the base. Okay, now before I stick the inside 2 on, I'm going to attach this to the top there, just before I pop it in. Going to go right up to the edge. Now I want that top edge to meet up, so I'm making sure that it's flush with that top edge there. And then I can smooth it down over the rest of it. And again on the other edge here, I'm going to make sure that the edge is flush and then smooth the rest down. It helps to have something to push against. So I'm just using the curve of my kind of my fist, I guess. There, now all of our tabs inside have disappeared. They're all gone. Now we've got to take care of the tabs on the outside. So let's glue our outside layers on. So now there isn't a tab in sight. Look, there's none inside, none outside. They're all covered, all gone. So we've now got 2 layers on every aspect, the front, the back, the bottom, the sides. So it's getting nice and sturdy because it's 300 GSM, but we've got 2 layers on. So we're getting there with sturdiness. Okay, so remember when we put that little panel on the ends? We just need to do the underside just to finish that off. So we've got 2 pieces, one front, one back. And again, I'm going to bring that right up to the top edge because I want it to kind of meet the one on the other side. Okay, so that's finished off. We've got our edges on the front and back now. Okay, now let's add our runners. These are symmetrical, so it doesn't matter which way round, what side you have them on. Now when you take a look, you'll see these little scallops, and that's where our runners are going to go. So they fit, they just rest there. Okay, so let's add some glue to these runners. Now when we glue these on, to begin with, they're going to be a little bit kind of fragile, in the sense that they could come away quite easily until we got the strengthener pieces underneath. But once we do that, they won't be going anywhere. So at this point, because they're literally held on just by the tips of those little swirls, we just want to give it some time, let those take hold. And even when they have taken hold, we just want to be a little bit careful with these until we get those the little brackets underneath. Having these score lines makes it nice and easy to find the placement. So these are the pieces we're going to do now. We'll take one going in each direction for each side. Now what we do, if you have a look, you'll find there's a section on the side here. If you imagine a line there going across, so going across, follow this line across. Now this piece actually glues as though it finishes at that line. I hope you can see that. I don't know if you can. Let's have a look. Okay. So it goes there. So we add glue to this piece, but then we add glue to this triangular piece up here. Now there's no set place for this to land. We do have a set place for this to go, just so it's hidden from view. So if I glue it where it needs to be fully hidden, then this piece we just push down until it hits the floor, and we hold that as well. So the aim is when you turn it over, you can't see it there because it's hidden behind. So I'm just going to hold that. This piece wants to slide a little bit, and I'm just going to hold that as well. It might slide out, but all you do is you push it back in until it's sitting flat, and then it's in the right position. We're going to make sure that this bracket stays behind our runner in the right place, and then just keep that flat pad flat, a little rectangular pad, and then that will be exactly in the right place. And the idea is you can't see it. See, from there it's glued right behind there, but you can't see it. Okay, so we'll go along and do the other one. So again, I'll just slide that bit in behind the design until it's completely hidden. And you can see it kind of leaves like a straight line across here. And then, holding that in place, we just push this pad until it's flat across the bottom. Okay, let's go round, put the ones on the other side. Got got all of our 4 large brackets on now, so we've just got our 2 small brackets to put in. Now these go perfectly central, so they want to go in behind the design there. So again, it's not visible from the outside. So I'm just sliding it along so it goes behind that design. I'm not worried about whether it hits that score line or not. It's all about hiding it behind the design of the runner. All there to brace it, make it nice and strong. Put the one on the other side. Okay, there we go. One of the last bits we've got is adding our little wreaths to the front and back. Now, when you put this on, this is curved. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to curve my, well, kind of bend, I guess, but curve my wreath a little bit. I don't know if you can see that. I'm kind of curving it a little bit that way. Now I'm just going to add some glue around the top edge. It doesn't need to be glued all the way around. I mean, you can if you want. But I'm just going to put a couple of little dots. So I'm just kind of putting it where it's pleasing to my eye. I'm trying to put it pretty central, but you know, how far towards the top, you know, that you put it is up to you. I'm putting a little gap between that and the border up here, but just putting it fairly central. Okay, let's see what the other one's like. Let's see if this one's taken hold. Yeah, that's not looking bad, so we can coax it out a little bit. I'm going to bend up my little bow, and then I'm going to bend out some of my little leaves that are flattened. Okay, that's looking good. Right, now we're down to our last job, and that's adding our gems. So I'm just going to add a couple of small gems to the little points that we've got here in the design. So you've got these little kind of stars. And then I'm going to put a medium size one on that one on the end. So the other two I've used a smaller size. Then I'm using the medium size on that one at the back. There. Just adding a little bit of dimension to it. Let's do the same on this side. There, 2 smalls and a medium. Okay, so that is the sleigh finished in teal and gold. I think that's really pretty, although I really am looking forward to making one into blue and silver, because I think that's going to be really, you know, give me kind of Ice Snow Queen kind of memories. So that's the red one that we did previously. But that's got the Merry Christmas sentiment on, and this one's got the sleigh ride sentiment. Of course, you can paper piece those, so that's an option that you've got there. And you'll see in one of the other videos that I did, I used the panels from the little packages, and I just used the sleigh rides as a topper for a card. So you can use your sentiments from the side of your sleigh in other ways, and I've actually paper pieced rides there in green, if you can see that. So that's nice, isn't it? And then the bows can be used on your little packages as well to finish off your little ribbons. So the kits really do work well together. Now you can pile your little packages inside your sleigh. So there are many ways that the Christmas release all interacts with each other, and I'll be looking forward to seeing how you use yours, what you use it for. Is it going to be a container for your sweets, nuts, Potpourri? Is it going to be a hamper? Is it what you're going to put your gifts in and then wrap it in cellophane? Is it going to be your table center, you know, for your Christmas table, or is it going to be on your sideboard? Do let us know. We'd absolutely love to hear and see how you use yours. What color scheme will you come up with? How are you going to change yours up? Are you going to use embossing folders for the inside panels maybe and add some texture? Are you going to pile yours up with boxes from the little packages die set? So do let us know in Claina's Crafty Crew, and we'd love to see how you use your Christmas release from 2024.